Hey guys, Coach Mike here at Esmarca Training with the 5th edition of Mob of the Week. In today's episode, we're talking about VooDoo Floss. All right, and what is it? How do I use it? Why should I use it? And just what is the skinny on this skinny little piece of rubber? And that's exactly what VooDoo Floss is. Okay, it's a textured, mobile piece of banding that we can use to force immediate compression into a joint or a tissue, whether it's stuck. And adhered down. We've been talking a lot about adhesions, or maybe because you just rolled an ankle and you've got some swelling that you're trying to knock down. Immediate compression means instant circulation and blood flow, which is ultimately the pathway to recovery. So how do you use this thing? Well, let's say I've just got really tight calves and I'm trying to loosen them up. Well, I'm going to go ahead and place a foot up on a box or up on your stall wall that you have, and you want to apply 50 to 75% tension and half an inch to 1 inch overlap. So that'll be a half of an overlap. I like to use it from the back side, not the inside. You'll see why in a minute. But basically I start applying some of that tension and then 50%, and I will roll this all the way up the shin. Now, if we're dealing with a swollen joint and we're trying to bring down swelling, your rule of thumb is to start below the heart and work your way up. So I have a tendency to just do that all the time, but it doesn't really matter too much if it's not a swollen issue, it's just something sticky or sore. I'm gonna work our way up, keeping that 50 to 75% tension, about a half to a 1 inch overlap, keep coming up. When you start getting near the end of the area you're trying to cover, you wanna leave enough slack so that you can come through one last time, tuck it through, and tie it off. Now, once it's on here, you really want to experiment with some range of motion. So maybe that means stepping and raising the heel if I'm doing my calves. If you had wrapped your knee, maybe doing some split squats or some squats assisted off of a box or even down to a box. If you've wrapped your arm or elbow, it means pumping and flexing the arm and twisting in different positions. This can comfortably is relative, comfortably stay on for up to about 2 minutes. Things you want to look for is numbness and tingling. Does it feel, it's going to feel awkward, but if it feels like pins and needles, it's probably time to come off. There will be a slight color discoloration. So if it starts to get white and clammy, test is simple, push it with your thumb. If you get blood back and it turns red after you push it, it's still okay. If you don't get a return or a response of that red coloring, probably time to take it off. If it's just looking clammy or dead, you're starting to turn into, The Walking Dead, get that stuff off of there, okay? We're not trying to apply a tourniquet, and up to about 2 minutes, and then it's time to take that sucker off. And when it is time to take it off, don't freak out. It will get off. Take it off and start unwrapping it. Come all the way down. And voila. Now, you're going to feel a surge of warmth because you're going to now you have the opportunity for blood to get in there. Take advantage of that. Start to statically stretch that muscle, go through some dynamic flow, move around a little bit, and make use of that mobility that you've just created for yourself. You can use this stuff anywhere: the calves, the knees, the hamstrings and quads, tendonitis of the elbow. All right, we get a lot of that from all the gripping and climbing we do. Use this stuff. If you get it all sweaty, wipe it down before you put it back. And if you're training with us, we keep this hanging right up here as one of our many mobility tools up here in the mobility lab. So that's it for today's episode. VooDoo Floss, start using it. Go out and buy some on Amazon and throw it in your mobility bag. This stuff is gonna save you. I'm telling you, it's awesome stuff.